Fixed price or time material? Hi everyone, my name is Milos, SAP Logistics Solution Architect for CoreTrust. I was going through some notes, through some projects we have, and a thing came to my mind regarding this topic, whether it's better to take projects that are fixed price, which means basically that you have a fixed scope, a fixed timeline, and a fixed price for the project, so you're working really to deliver the project in scope on a fixed time. Or is it better to work time material, which means you're getting paid for the actual time you spend on the project? And I have a real story. It happened quite some years ago now. I was on an SAP project. It was a warehousing / manufacturing system implementation. There was there was MII. Without going into details, my role was to assist the program manager in managing the whole project, checking the test scripts, getting the users ready, doing the training. So I was supporting on the customer side, and there was one implementation partner doing the project. And in that specific project, we went live. It was a very tough one. There were short timelines. We didn't want to postpone the go live. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the experience. The go live was quite tough, but we managed it through. And a lot of people did overtime. There were also night shifts. We had to support 24/7 for quite a few weeks before we stabilized the solution. Luckily, everything went well, so the go live went well in the end. But the partner, the implementation partner, was working on a time material basis, and they had all the extra time, the overtime, the night shift, the travel was approved, of course, because the support was needed. So actually the cost for the customer was fairly high. Of course, I knew all the details because I was in a key position. I was working basically the right hand of the overall program manager, and I'll call him John just to keep it confidential. And at a certain point during the project, I say, John, wow, you're definitely gonna think again and always do a fixed price from now on moving forward. And John looked at me, and of course John had more experience than me back then, and he said, well, depends, Milos, sometimes the fixed price and the time material, they're different, It's true that this project costed a lot, but there's other disadvantages in doing fixed price. And only now, later in the years, I do understand what John meant and what John was thinking. But there's definitely differences. So for example, when you do a time material, you can quickly change the scope as needed. Of course, there's going to be impacts on that. You might take longer, but literally the people working for you, they're committing their time for you for a specific project. If you decide to add something to the scope or remove something to the scope, there's not much discussion needed because you can drive that and just be paying on a time material basis. At the same time, you actually also want to have a tighter check on what actually people are doing, because you need to make sure they're delivering good value for the time invested. So to make sure they're not taking advantage, right, of working time material. It's more tricky, but potentially if you're able to manage well, you can really decide how do you use the resources, the people involved in the project. But you need to be careful because indeed the budget could go up, the cost could go up, and therefore the budget might be higher than what was initially expected. At the same time, if you engage fixed price, the supplier, so the implementation partner, their best interest might not be to do necessarily what's in the best interest of the customer, in the sense that they have a fixed scope, they have a fixed price, they have a fixed timeline. They're going to make sure that they do exactly what's needed, nothing more, to stay within the fixed timeline and the fixed price so that they can keep their margin, right? So they don't end up losing money because they're doing something extra that was not foreseen, although maybe that something extra might be super valuable for the customer. So basically, it's hard to adapt more flexibly on the fly if you're doing a fixed price project. But at the same time, the customer will have more control over the budget. So what's better? Is it time material or is it fixed price? Now, this is definitely a very big and complex topic. I think there's not an absolute winner. I think there's situations where time material can be better and situations where fixed price can be better. But if you're uncertain, if you see that things are changing too fast and you need to be more flexible, definitely time material will allow you to be that. It also depends on what's your role. Are you the implementation partner? Are you the customer? And what's the goal of the project, and what's the overall context? All that plays a role in making the best decision, whether it's time material or fixed price the project that needs to be implemented. And for me, it's typically an SAP project. What do you think? What's your experience? Do you have a story to tell about fixed price versus time material? Let me know in the comments and let me know what you think about my personal story, and I look forward to hear from you. See you soon, everyone. Bye.